about to piss some people off, and the reason why is because they pissed us off, okay? I am so sick of posting a video about Blackness, about Black people, or different things that we are struggling with, or different things that we need to work on as a Black woman, posting this content, and I get the so-called pro-Blacks, and they filter in, and they just have some of the dumbest takes I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. And then they have the nerve to call me a COON. I'm like, do you not realize the things that you're saying? That sounds exactly like what a Nick Fuentes is saying. Y'all making the same argument. You just took the scenic route.
I know you have to lie. You trying to tell me that these same people that are so educated, that know so much, that don't want to be called names, that don't want to be told what to do, is turn around, call somebody names and tell them what to do. The hypocrisy. You know, we got a word of the day. Is that on the list, y'all? Hypocrisy.
That need to be the word of the month, because it is just so rampant everywhere. Like, that should be a reoccurring word, because folks just can't get a clue. Okay, no. They just can't get a clue about the hypocrisy, and you know, even when you point it out to them bar for bar, you show them how what you're saying aligns perfectly with the same white supremacists that y'all mad at. It aligns perfectly, and they just still they don't see it. They don't want to see it. So we're going to get all the way into that, because it's been a mess, and it just keeps getting worse. You know, you would think with more programming, more information, things would get better. But unfortunately, you know, people are stuck in their echo chambers. And when they hear something that is slightly different from what they're used to, they just instantly, you know, either they take what you're saying completely out of context, or they start adding bells and whistles that weren't even there. Like, I never said what you attacking me for something I didn't even say.
Well, isn't it interesting that the strangers who, there's another content creator named Take Heed to the Message. And when she's streaming, she gets all that too. And she says, you know, I don't want to get you in trouble. She says, scroll the F up. And I've adopted that. Because it's like, you know, you don't have to be here if you don't want to. All views matter. All views do matter. But you know you don't have to be here, because like, I'll be like, I don't be trying to change y'all's mind. I don't know why you think you're going to be trying me changing my mind with some foolishness. And y'all put this mess out here. So I'm confused as what you mad at me for. I didn't dig this up. I didn't, you know, make this up. Whoever did this mess and put it out here. So maybe you should go to them and leave me the F alone.
Exactly. It's like you're upset at us talking about the foolishness, but you're not upset about the foolishness itself.
Exactly.
They're like, why are you feeding into racial stereotypes? I'm like, why is she living like a stereotype and then putting it online?
Exactly.
You mad because people are shining a light on something. Be mad that there is something to shine a light on.
Exactly. You know, we don't have a right to say anything. It's only them.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that they'll go through all kinds of hoops and hurdles to, you know, justify why they're saying you shouldn't talk on an issue. Mm-hmm. Like in particular, with me being light skinned, are like, well, you shouldn't be talking about this because you're light skinned. I'm like, I'm Black. Both my parents are Black. Both my grandparents are Black. Now, yes, obviously there's probably some multi-generational mixing at some point, but we Blackity Black over here. Like, so it's crazy that, you know, I'll put out a video and that's one of the first things they'll attack is the fact that I'm a lighter skin tone.
What in the hell does that have to do with anything?
You know what? That's a good question.
That's so stupid. Like, oh, okay. So I think we talked about this the other day that you would get everyone when I was younger gets made fun of about everything. So I was too tall, too brown skin, too talking white, too talking Black. It's always something. So that's why it's like, all right, you got to get a thick skin about stuff. But colorism is our thing. So just because somebody is lighter color, what difference does it make? We got all these ranges, you know what I mean? So I don't know, girl. I believe it, but at the same time, it's like, I can't believe it. Like you can't do anything when it's foolishness. But if it was ratchetness, they wouldn't point it out. If you was over here saying, yeah, hey, what is her name, child? Sexy Red, that's my girl. They'd be like, yeah, sis, go, sis. Yeah, sis.
Exactly. Exactly. But the moment you want to hold a standard or, uplift anything that's positive or say that there's a better way for different things, the moment you want to do that, it's like their brain shut off. It's just they remove their brain from their skull and, just start saying the most outlandish things possible. But I do want us to kind of get into, how we both arrived at our frame of thinking. Now, I don't know if you went on a journey to figure these things out or if, your family already knew the real tea from the beginning, that a lot of, this Democrat and, the victim mentality and all these different things that are plaguing the Black community. So when it comes to like your journey, or if there was a journey to your mindset that you're at right now, can you go ahead and describe that for me, what that looked like?
As far as the realization that the Democrats are half damn crazy, I would say I came to that conclusion being on YouTube. So I've been on here for 4 years, working going on into 5. And prior to that, even though my mom she's always said, dude, you all keep voting Democrat and they don't ever give you anything. You all just keep voting Democrat and they don't even have to do anything for your vote. She's been saying that since I was old enough to hear her voice, right? But I don't know who she ever voted for. I know she voted for Obama. I can definitely confirm that. But like prior to that, I don't think she ever voted for anybody that wasn't Democrat. So in my mind, I was like, well, why in the hell you keep saying this if you're going to keep doing the same damn mess that you're complaining about, right? But I was like, all right.
This is amazing.
So I've been hearing it. And then when Donald Trump was president the first time, my mother was doing a newsletter. So she would do a newsletter and she would send it out to her personal, friends and whatever. And every story was a story of a Black person getting killed by a white person. That's all she would put out. And I would just be like, is there nothing else going on in the world? And she would look deep. She would spend her whole time looking for it. And then, it had me scared at the time. And then it was a lot of, rhetoric as far as Trump is concerned and everything. And then here comes Joe Biden and his "you ain't black" and when he was losing for the umpteenth time, he went down there to the Black church. And then they just said, Joe Biden it is, Joe Biden it is. And when that was going on, I was like, well, wait a minute, what happened to the crime bill? Because all I've been hearing in this area is the crime bill and disenfranchised people and he's racist. And I'm just looking at all this like, no, wait a damn minute. I'm just a little bit confused. Like maybe that was the journey. Because so now we just forgot all about that. And then none of that matters anymore. And then he got elected. Then they chose Cam. And then Tiffany Cross came out here talking about you gonna put Kamala Harris in that. She's just some sister girl type of shit. And I was looking at that like, bitch, who in the hell are you talking to? Like it was all this foolishness that was going on. Like it's all kind of running together, but it's like, y'all, these people crazy. These people are crazy. What is going on? And then when Joe Biden was in there, we did it, Joe. Joe Biden was in there, and the thing with the border started happening, and then he had said that she was the border czar, and then people were like, she wasn't the border czar, and I was like, no, damn it, I'm old, but y'all, I do remember him saying that she's supposed to take care of the damn border, and we found those videos. I said, these MFers, and then talking to more people and listening to other people on YouTube that are more on conservative side. And I was just like, and listening to Anton Daniels, I know a lot of people don't like him, but you don't have to like him to understand what he's saying. And a Black conservative perspective and some other people trying to hear something that's not CNN, MSNBC, which I don't listen to. Wasn't listening to none of that because I don't listen to the news. I haven't listened to the news in years. I just go find what it is that I need. And I said, y'all, these people crazy. I said, this is what Black people believe in. When I equate that back to when I was in school, I was raised by my grandmother initially, my grandmothers, and we had to go to church every Sunday. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. Had to go to choir practice with her, had to go to Bible study. Like you had to do these things. And I'm like, so now we don't believe in the Lord? when it's political, oh, I'm sorry. So now we believe in deleting kids. So now we believe in deleting kids, and that's just the way that it's supposed to be. I'm like, and then when they started with the ABCD stuff, which I can now see, which I wasn't paying attention to, is something. I don't mean to be so long-winded, but it's a couple of cycles of these presidencies, and I'm just looking like, now wait a damn minute. And I said, I'm not trying to sit around here and just be going along with all this ABCD stuff, because again, I grew up where they meant plural. So I'm not running around here calling one person they. They can kiss my ass. What we're not going to do is try to change my education and my life to fit this bullshit. And that was a lot of what Joe Biden was doing. I said, I'm not doing this. I said, y'all crazy. Y'all are out of your damn minds. Y'all can have this shit. And I did not vote for Cam. And then they'll watch that, and then I'm done. And then they'll watch that daggone, she said, what I'm gonna do, not help black people. No. It was them freaking rolling
talking about
the MFers talking about how they're trying to force that woman to be black. I said, why are y'all lying to us? Like, what are we doing right now? So you just gonna sit here and lie to us? There's so many things. And I'm not even necessarily a Republican. I'm not necessarily a Democrat. I am aware of people that got some damn sense, which I find every day. There aren't any. It don't even matter. There aren't any. Oh, but we're gonna talk about them. Oh, we definitely gonna talk about them. But let me hold on. I'm sorry. Let me acknowledge Prince Revolver, because he sent a super chat. Thank you, Boo. He said, is Sandra single? I will let you answer that.
No. No, my man is literally right there. No, but very, very sweet of you. But look, I love listening to you talk. So don't ever feel like you're being long-winded. I can sit here all day and hear you talk. You could read me the dictionary and it would be the funniest thing I've heard all day. So
Noted. Thank you.
But, listening to what you're saying, and absolutely, I agree with everything that you're saying. What was so crazy, especially around that time, like 2020 and all that election, was you had all these black folks out here putting on a cake for him. He gets so bold that he says, just like you mentioned, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. And I'm like, this is the same mofo that locked half of y'all family members up.
Girl,
on some drug charges.
Girl, every single time. Y'all, wait a damn minute. He's the creator of the crime bill. And then your favorite first black president, because they said the first black president was Bill Clinton. Yeah, so it's like, well, wait a minute, y'all. That's your first black president, and he signed the crime bill, and y'all got all over that. Y'all can, and I'm like, black people. Do y'all see what's going on, and y'all still gonna just be like going through with all this and just ignore it? Like you didn't witness it, you can't hear it, you don't comprehend it, and you think, I swear to you, I think some people are just waiting for something that says BLACK and then present it. I think that's what they're waiting for.
Exactly. It's like we're so desperate. We're so desperate for literally everything that they can give us literal crumbs off of their plate that they've already just slopped up. They got their spit mixed in with it. They don't let the dog lick the plate, and then they're going to toss us the crumbs. And we're just foaming, frothing at the mouth at their crumbs. And, it's absolutely insane. And I'm going to need us to get our standards up off the floor. If we're going to have this line in the sand about these different things, then I'm going to need y'all to not let folks play in your face to where you forget the history of somebody. Don't forget that he has a whole litter of history talking about, a lot of anti-black things or, targeting black folks or calling us predators and all these other things. But then they want to look at the same timeline and then be like, well, Trump back in the 80s, he didn't, rent out to, and it was like, okay, well, you can see that, but then why can't you see the crime bill that y'all were just talking about? Like, why can't you see that? Why can't you see all these different things, but just deaf, dumb, and blind? And I think that part of this is some people don't have an inner monologue. Some people if you're sitting there trying to do something, you think it to yourself in your head and you hear your own voice or you hear your mom's voice. Mm-hmm. You have that?
That's common sense.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have that.
Yes, and a lot of people are missing it.
It's just crickets. It's just crickets up there. That's why when someone tells them something, you know, if they're an approved source, they just go with it. They just go full throttle, go with it, because they don't have an internal voice that's gonna, you know, combat or, you know, criticize or critique what they're hearing. They're just gonna say, "Oh, trusted source," and then they adopt it on as their own because they don't got anybody up here to critically think for them. So it's insane. It's absolutely insane to me.
That's the new thing, because whenever anybody says it, then it is. Or if TikTok says it, then it definitely is, because that is the source of everything right. And I'm like, so y'all just gonna forget the fact that the Asians, I'm gonna call them, even though I think it's Chinese people, tossed y'all this dumbass app while they got the smart ass app over here. So y'all just gonna forget about all that? Their people got the smart app. Y'all got the dumb app, and y'all going along with the dumb shit. All right, cool. Another so source of where we'll just get content from and have y'all out here looking crazy.
Exactly. That's so true. You know, when TikTok popped off here in the United States, I was actually living in China at the time. I was living in China at the time, and yeah, their TikTok is way different. They prioritize, you know, educational, performance art. They will not allow you to post anything slightly ratchet on their end of TikTok. It's completely different. And I remember talking to one of my coworkers, and she pointed this out to me because I didn't download it because I was like, I don't want the CCP watching me and watching my moves. So I didn't download the app, but she was telling me and she was showing me what they had on their TikTok, and I'm like, this is actually beneficial. This is healthy. But you know, people don't want to hear that. They cannot delay gratification to save their life. So if it's gratifying them right in that moment, they won't think about the future. They won't think about the implications of it. It's just, am I having fun right now? Let's just go full throttle into that.